We are absolutely tickled pink to be a part once again of the Help Kids Shine movement. It's a month-long campaign to raise funds and awareness for the Niagara Children's Center. Words cannot describe we try to help words describe it, but we really can't ever paint the picture clear enough as to the amount of positive energy and support that the Niagara Children's Center brings to Niagara and its families. But we try every year. It's an awareness builder. It's a fundraiser. And part of that is chatting with people that are ambassadors and their families for the Niagara Children's Center. One of those families is the Green family. Jennifer Green is the mom of Cameron, and they've been working with the Niagara Children's Center for quite some time. Jennifer joins us now. Hey, Jennifer, how are you?
Hi, Lee. I'm great. I'm so happy to be here today to talk about Help Kids Shine.
Me too. I know you and I have chatted before in the last couple of years gone by, but it's always fabulous to have you here because you're such an enthusiastic supporter. And my gosh, your family has been through a lot. And one of the things I'm sure that you find when you go through this is the fact that it becomes not just part of your life; it becomes almost a way of life. I'm sure.
It is, yes. We've been with the Children's Center for 13 years.
Wow.
And it's really, we couldn't do it without them. They are our partner and now part of our family as we go through this journey with Cameron.
Jennifer, tell us, go all the way back to the beginning, 13 years ago. Talk to us about how this started and how you became part of the Niagara Children's Center family.
Sure. Well, when Cameron was born, he had some issues, and we didn't actually get a diagnosis for Cameron until he was 16 months old. So we went through that first whole 16 months not really knowing what was wrong, but knowing that there were definitely things that weren't going right. And we were lucky enough to join in at the Niagara Children's Center when Cameron was 6 months old, and they just helped us out with therapy and really made us felt part of a bigger community and that we had someone there to help us. So we did physiotherapy, occupational therapy, we've done speech therapy. And when all those things are going wrong early on, it is so challenging, and just having them there to help support us has made such a difference in our lives.
Jennifer, what was going wrong early on? I mean, 16 months is such a tiny baby. It's hard to it's hard to really know what's normal, what isn't. When did you start to notice it was something wrong?
Well, right from the beginning, Cameron couldn't eat like a baby would. So we ended up at the hospital fairly early on, starting with a feeding tube. So now Cameron has a tube in his stomach where he gets all his feeds from. So that was kind of the first thing. He wasn't eating well. He also couldn't hold his head up like a baby would. Mm-hmm. So those were kind of our first indications that things just weren't going the way that they should be. You also see other kids and can tell that, things just aren't going according to what the plan should be.
How did you get in touch with, or who put you in touch with the Children's Center?
We actually, at that time, did a self-referral because we knew something wasn't right, and we didn't want to wait until we had a diagnosis. We were really struggling. We were feeding Cameron with a little medicine dropper while he had a soother in his mouth, just getting formula in a drop at a time. So to say that we were barely surviving doesn't even basically hit the nail on the head. We were having such a tremendous time just trying to get through each hour of each day.
I can't imagine, and I don't think most of us can imagine, the kind of stress and anxiety that your family must have gone through. I can't imagine it.
I think actually the stress came so much later because at the beginning it really is, you're such in a survival mode that you're really just getting through each moment. And for us, when we got to the Niagara Children's Center and we had that first appointment, we met with a physiotherapist and an occupational therapist, and it really was thank goodness somebody else sees that something's going wrong and they are here to help us, and they really held our hand and helped us figure out things from that moment forward.
What is it actually that Cameron was suffering from?
He has a genetic difference. It's called mosaic trisomy 9. It's very rare. There's only a couple hundred people worldwide and only a few in Canada. All that means basically is that there's some extra pieces on Cameron's 9th chromosome, and it's varied where they hit. We haven't actually been able to get really a strong determination of where those extra 3 pieces are, because that would involve really invasive testing, but we do know that Cameron has a lot of skeletal issues, so he's had issues with his skull, with his spine, with his hips. He doesn't talk. He's a man of very few words. He has an iPad that he uses to talk, and he has a lot of global delays as well.
What do you mean by global delays?
He takes a lot longer to do things. He's 13 years old, and right now he's still doing things that I would say toddlers would be learning to do, so stacking blocks and getting those fine motor skills going. So
this chromosomal anomaly has virtually affected his entire system, nervous system, musculature, skeletal, the whole thing.
For sure. Yeah, definitely it has.
Fascinating. And just you must have wondered, what the heck? I mean, how rare does something have to be? And this happens to us. There must be, for the family, there has to be that sort of why us sort of approach at some point. Maybe not now, but at some point in time, that must have crossed your mind.
For sure, and everyone's different. They go through different things. For us, we know that with a specific diagnosis that Cameron has, it is basically that 1 in a trillion fluke. It was not passed on genetically. It just happened. You know, we won the lottery on that diagnosis, but with it comes an amazing little boy. Cameron is so happy, and he truly loves life to the fullest. You can hear him laugh all the time at school. He goes to school at the Niagara Children's Center as well. He really, truly enjoys life, so he's really motivating to have around.
Jennifer, had the Niagara Children's Center not been here to assist you folks over the last more than a decade now, how would you have coped? Do you think you could have? What would you have done?
I don't think we would have coped. They really took care of all of the big things, even helping with referrals that we should see this specialist or that doctor, things that you know, as much as you're trying, there's no way that you can figure all of that out on your own. And definitely they have been there for us. The last several years have been a lot of surgeries for Cameron, and they're the ones that when we get let go from the hospital and you're, okay, he's not where he was before he went into the hospital, we need to rebuild him up so that he can stand, he can sit, that sort of thing. They're the ones that are there for us. So it hasn't just been at the beginning. It's been year after year. They've been there for us to help us get Cameron back to who he is. They help bring his personality back and just really bring a lot of light into our lives.
You have another child, right?
We do. Callum is 9 years old, and he's totally perfectly typical in every way.
How do he and his brother interact?
Oh, great. Cameron is not one that loves a lot of affection, and Callum is one of the people, probably one of about only 5 people that he really enjoys hugging and playing with. So that's awesome to see. Callum, I think, has really grown into a unique individual, having Cameron in his life. He's very sensitive and caring and compassionate. So there's a lot of really awesome things that come with having a diagnosis that Cameron has, and we've really been fortunate to be part of this whole journey.
Well, it's a wonderful and awful story all at the same time, and you know what I mean by that.
I do, yeah.
No family wants to envision the situation in which they have a child that has special needs and will have for quite some time, but it's always nice to know that there's a place like the Niagara Children's Center that can help out. And Jennifer, we really appreciate you telling your story and again reminding us about what Cameron goes through every day. What's his life going to be like for the next 10 years or so?
Well, we have another year at the Children's Center, which would be Cameron's grade 8 year of school, and they are setting us up to go off to high school and be very successful there. We're hoping that there's no future surgeries in the realm, but we are kind of always face that with we're going to handle what comes to us.
How many surgeries have taken place to this point?
Over 10 for sure.
Wow.
And really big ones on his spine, on his hips, on his skull. So yeah, we've been down a lot of scary roads. And one nice thing is that the Children's Center is always there for us when we get out of the hospital. So it's
Jennifer,
truly an amazing place.
Give Cameron our best. Thank you so much again for sharing the story and being part of the Help Kids Shine movement here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
610CKTB is .com is the place to go. You can see Cameron's story. You can see his parents' story. You can find out how to help the Help Kids Shine Club monthly giving club membership. That's part of one of the ways that you can contribute here.